listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Away we go. We are back. Leatherhead Nation, we are back. Welcome back to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast. The only one in the world brings the firehouse kitchen table to you guys. Got my man Ruffy in his yellow shirt tonight. Oh, gold. Beautiful. Standing out. Love it. Good. Same circus, different clowns. We got Petey Pete over there on the Wheels of Steel with Gettin Salty hoodie.
That's right.
That's awesome stuff.
Yeah,
great
man.
stuff. How you doing tonight, Ruffy?
I'm doing good. I had, it was supposed to rain. I was supposed to play golf today, but it rained, but then it didn't really rain. And I took a nap.
Oh, so not bad.
No, I felt good.
You look good. Look at him.
I like it.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Did you trim the beard?
I did a little bit trim. I got it on the side. See the line?
Nice. Handsome.
Very nice.
Off, though. I keep saying that every week to my wife.
I like it when it's like I like it more when it's like like
the grays, they look out like that. The grays,
I know, so that's why I was there busy trimming today. I feel you.
So I think we got good response from the Cup of Joe and some Fuego, right?
Ooh, yes.
Always liked it.
Yeah. I liked it. Actually,
I like doing it. We had fun doing it.
Me too.
So,
me too.
Listen, when you send stuff in, guys, just don't send a picture with nothing written on it. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not Kreskin. I'm not Kreskin over here.
I'm just going to let you know. Don't send it to me either.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't mind. Send it all you want. I got it. I love them.
Send it to koobspodcast@gmail.com.
Right.
KUBES.
Give me a little story. Tell me something where this is. You know, for all I know, it's in your backyard. How the hell do I know what you're doing over there?
For the firemen in the audience, a story is who, what, when, where, why.
Right. Exactly. You know, or picture you and your 4 buddies standing there. I know it's interesting to you, but for the other couple of thousand, really, you know what I mean? So give me a little story behind it. Send that. We really like the helmet cams. And
those are awesome.
Some good video. And your kitchen tables. I know there's a lot of good ones out there. Start sending them in.
Guys, with the helmet cams, just a heads up. If you can hear something that's really cool and we can't see anything, then that's fine. But really, we got to see something. So mostly your entries are going to be probably the best stuff. But if you got fire and we can see it, please send it. That was my favorite part of the show, man. Holy crap. I was actually in suspense. And then
for a guy who ran down the block for a little bit of smoke, you were actually pretty excited to see fire.
I was until you know what?
Well, I couldn't hurt it. It was on video.
That's right. When he first sprayed the top of the hall, I was like, that's cool. But then when he came in and all the fire was in his face, I was like, that's not fucking cool. I gotta go. I gotta go. Yeah. Oh, that was awesome though, man. Really great work, man.
Yeah, keep sending it in, bro. We're going to do this every week. We're thinking about maybe doing it twice a week. If you send me enough stuff, maybe we can get that done. Maybe. But before we get to that, Pete, why don't you give them a little shameless plug?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're brought to you by GettinSaltyApparel.com, where you will find hoodies like this. And I just want to say one thing. I've now been wearing this hoodie like for the last couple weeks on the show and everything like that. It is by far the most comfortable hoodie. And I'm not just saying it. I have my own hoodies that are not as comfortable as this hoodie. So now I got to get your supplier, Kev, because this is the most comfortable hoodie I've ever worn. You guys could also get cool T-shirts like the one that Louis is wearing there, or Kubi's, right? So if you guys want to support us and support the show, head on over to GettinSaltyApparel.com. Thank you.
Beautiful. So before we bring our guest in, bro, you guys were asking for an everyday in the trenches, rough, tough engineman. I think we found them, right, Ruff?
Yeah, it doesn't get any more engineman than this
guy. Salty than this guy.
Not much time on the job, though.
Nah, really. Not in any busy places either.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, so let's bring him in. Without further ado, let's bring in Lieutenant Proby Sarno. There he is.
Hey.
Love it.
Look at him. He still looks good. He's got the hair going.
Hello, guys.
What's up, kid?
How are you guys?
Thanks for coming on, Lou. Appreciate it.
Thank you for asking me. Really.
Oh, please. We only bring
pleasure.
The best.
No. The best of the best.
The best of the best. And we heard that you were the best of the best.
Wow. Who'd you talk to?
Who paid you?
Yeah.
So, Pete, before we even get in there, we've got to say the word of the day. Right, bro?
Well, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special word of the day tonight. And that word of the day is Bucky.
Son of a bitches.
How'd you get that one? Oh.
I don't know,
Birdie
but,
told us.
his name rhymes with Jimmy Graham.
Oh, man. You know what's funny? Just a quick thing that your career and his career are almost identical to the dates.
Really? No,
Yes.
I didn't.
Yeah, I was just happy because when you sent your timeline over, I have all the timelines, and I just happened to look at his, and it's almost to the month and year.
He got on ahead of me. I know that he was on.
But when all the promotions and everything was almost to the year, like
Really?
it was really strange. Yeah.
Really? You know, I saw the department order. When I got on and when I got transferred and stuff. Ray Seeley I was in his Proby class. I didn't even know that.
Is that right? Yeah, he was forgettable.
You mean Shaggy? Shaggy's probably
We went to the 4-9 battalion at the same time, and we went to transferred out of the respective houses at the same time.
All right, he went to 292. You went to 312, right?
Right.
But before we get there, let's back it up a little bit.
Okay.
So where you come from? What neighborhood? In the city? Where you from?
I grew up in Valley Stream, Long Island.
Oh, look at that
Yeah.
Valley Stream guy.
Yeah, my parents moved out there before it was legal to live out there. The house was in my mother's name because back in the day, in the early 50s, you weren't allowed to leave the city. So the house was always in my mother's name.
Oh, just like in Goodfellas. No, it's in my mother-in-law's name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in my mother-in-law's name. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mother-in-law.
Born and raised in Valley Stream.
Valley Stream the whole time. Your dad was on the job, so that I don't have to ask you how you got interested in the fire service, right? Where was your dad?
Hey, well, it's funny because when he was a kid, he grew up in Manhattan, and he grew up on the west side of Manhattan. So he used to hang out at 47 Engine, and he never went in. He used to say he memorized all the boxes, and he memorized. He could read the bells before he was like 15 years old.
Really?
So he followed 47 Engine, and then later on he went and he became a founding member of the Bell Club in 1930.
Is that right?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, him and another guy. There was like 10 or 12 guys that started the Bell Club, and my father and another guy named Jack Cashman. They both became lieutenants on the job, and the other guy, Jack Cashman, actually was a founding member and the first chief of the Levittown Fire Department.
Look at that. Well, where did your father work as a fireman?
He got appointed to 68 Engine in the Bronx.
At what year was that?
19. Well, that's a funny story because he got his appointment letter to the job and his draft notice on the same day.
Oh shit!
So he was all happy on the first letter, and then he got
the
the
second
letter like what the hell. So he ended up going overseas for 3 years. So he got appointed. He got the appointment in 42, August 42, but he didn't get on the job till 46.
Wow, looks like a real dude, man. Good looking fella.
Look at him on the job right here.
Yeah,
I
said, how did you? I asked him about that picture before he passed, and he said it was a photographer there that day, and he just happened to turn around, and the guy got him.
That's him looking at the camera.
That's him looking at the camera.
Look at that.
Yeah,
He knows how to cheese it up.
Yeah. So,
Back in the day.
where did he ship out to? He go to Europe, or was he in the?
He went to the Pacific.
Right.
Well, it started actually he was in an Army Air Corps. We went down to Nicaragua first. He was in a service unit for the planes, and he was down there. And the fire chief in the base that he was in was Brannigan. You know, the guy who wrote all the books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was on the same place. So he used to laugh all the time because he said they had a really bad fire on the base. He says, I wouldn't listen to that guy's books. So, but after that, he went over, to the Pacific and then back.
So what happens if?
I accidentally hit the button. Mamma mia. All right, let's just do the old school tip right now.
Yeah. Nice having you on. Thanks, sir.
I told you it goes by fast.
Yeah, really. Wow.
Been 2 hours. Sorry.
So when you get the letter, they have to hold your spot. So as soon as you come back,
Yeah, there was a department order because I looked it all up in the man library when I was over at the Rock, and there's probably 200 or 300 guys that got their equated date back during the war, and then they held the jobs for them. When they came back, they were appointed.
Right? Did that time count towards the
job?
Oh
yeah.
Wow, that's great, man.
Yeah, it counted. Yeah, it counted.
Where did he get when he got promoted? Where did he work?
Well, he went from 68 Engine. He transferred to 23 Engine, and he liked Manhattan. He was a Manhattan guy. He always liked Midtown. He liked the Lower West Side. So he went to 23 engine and got promoted out of 23 engine in 1957.
57.
Wow.
Yeah, 1957.
And where was he lieutenant at then?
Well, then he bounced 2 engine, 3 engine. Matter of fact, he was in, I think 2 engine was the quarters of Rescue 2 later on, and it burned down. He was there as a lieutenant, and then he went down to the Lower West Ladder 11, and then he
The
wanted.
truck was busy back then too, man.
Yeah, well, he was there in the like 58, 59, 60, I guess. I don't even know exactly, but I do remember when he transferred from 11 truck to 21 engine in 1962. He said he took me out of school that day, and he said, "You want to help? I'm going to help you transfer." So I went with him to the firehouse. And I remember carrying his boots down the stairs. I was only like 6 years old and stuff. But that's, I think, when the bug bit me. Because he, I saw the truck going out. And I'm like, wow, this is great. Bells going off, noise. This is unbelievable. So
yeah, just the smell of the firehouse. I remember when I was going like that.
So we went to 21 engine in 1962.
And then that's where it finished up?
He stayed there till about 80. And then he transferred to 314 out in Rosedale. And
How did he do?
Excuse me?
How much time did he do?
With the wartime and everything, for 40 years, 41 years.
Holy
Wow.
wow. God bless
Yeah.
him, man.
So I think we got the genes, I hope.
Yeah.
And he stayed in the engine mode the whole time. That's how I think I got it from him.
Hot roll, putting the fire out, right?
Yeah, that's the best part of the job, man.
I got some pictures too, man. You'll see
to a couple. You get appointed in 81. Was he still on the job? When did he retire?
Yeah, we worked for 3 years together. He retired in 84.
Oh, there he is. Nice.
He retired in 84. Look at that.
Yeah. I morphed into him.
You did.
You really do look exactly like him, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
so for 3 years, I used to hear him on the radio while I was working. If we
That's
were
a great
working the
picture.
same tours and everything. It was pretty cool,
Yeah, no other brothers?
I come from an older sister and 3 brothers, but I was the only one that went on the job. 2 brothers. So I'm one, and when we were kids, my father used to, we were buffs. He used to run to, we heard a fire in Queens. He would take us, or
Really?
he'd take
great.
me. So I remember one time he grabbed me. He said, "Come on, we're going to a 3rd alarm in Rockaway." I'm like, all right, let's go. And we went, and we were there for a while. I think it was back when the bungalows were burning down there. And we came home, and we walked in the house, and my mother looked at me and went, "What the fuck did you do to this kid?" I was all black from the smoke and stuff.
You were in there, yeah.
Yeah, he was telling me, "Oh, we're taking a good feed and everything else." And he was like, "All right, okay, yeah, well, this is great." So,
Did you used to go to the Bell meetings?
Club? No, I didn't go much to them. Later on, when he got older, I used to go to the dinners with him.
I went to a few of those, yeah.
Yeah. And
Joe Higgins, right? Joe Higgins.
Yeah, before him, I remember the boss before him.
Yeah, they had a lot of juice, the Bell Club, man. If you were on the end with the Bell Club, right, Ruff?
Yeah, Joe Higgins. Anything he just passed away, right? I think.
Yeah, recently. Yeah, fairly recently. Before him, there was the Bell Club really exploded under Joe. I think before that it was quieter. But they're a good bunch. They always should have.
Yeah, we used to bring the squad. They used to have the meeting over sometimes in the over by the shops.
Yes.
And he used to call me and say, would you mind bringing the rig over? So we used to bring the rig down there, still in service. Mm-hmm. And they used to go through the rig, all that stuff,
all them guys would climb all over it and look at it and everything. Yeah.
Ray Flood was my captain in 117. He was a big member of the Bell Club, right?
Oh, really? He? Yes, he was. Yes. Yeah. Wow.
So was that guy Bucky.
How did you get that? How'd you get that one?
I'm drinking the good stuff tonight, by the way.
Well,
I'm excited.
I got that name because my ball skills playing softball. They would throw me at second base, and then they would hit the ball to me, and I would miss it. And they said, "Man, you're not Bucky Dent at all, man." So the name stuck for a long time. Yeah. I got that name in the volleys, and it carried over to the job.
So you were a volley in
Valley Stream. Yeah,
While you're on the job, or
yeah. I got on. I was on the volleys in '74, so I had 6 or 7 years on the volleys before I came on the job.
Were they working? I mean, were they going to fires then?
Well, we did fires. One one fire I did go to with them, which I would like to forget, was the Temple fire, Temple Gates of Zion. Valley Street Fire Department was always, it still is, it's always a good department. And we lost 2 guys and like 11 guys got burned that night.
Really?
It was a truss roof construction,
Mhm.
and it came down on the guys. And
That was in the 70s.
79.
One thing I wanted to throw in there, because it always gets asked on our show, is do you feel like the Volleys was a great place for you to prep for the FDNY, being that the FDNY is such a prestigious department?
Well, I always knew I wanted to get on the job because I used to tell my father, and he used to say, "I don't put all your eggs in one basket." And I said, "Yeah, all right, I'll get on." and he, the Volleys did too. Yeah, it did prep me because I was guys in the Volleys that were city firemen, guys from 58 engine, 93 engine, and they took me under their wing a little bit. So like I enjoyed it, and I used to say to the guys in the fire when they would start in without the Volleys. They said, "Yeah, who's home watching your wife? The Volleys."
Right, man.
So ease up on it a little bit, but so it was all good though.
Touché.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your first due at their old lady's box.
Oh, yeah, man.
Look at Petey.
Coming back strong.
Yeah, man. Oh, that Petey.
Yeah.
He's some Bucky, that Petey.
Hey, I like where you're headed tonight. I like where you're headed, Ken. You're headed in the right
I tell
place.
you, when my father was in 21 engine, one of his Probies was Commissioner Nigro.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I fairly recently at dinner, a while back, the commissioner grabbed me and he was telling me a story about my father.
That's great, man.
It was funny because my father was, back from the era with the bells, and they always,
Right.
and he had the little beeper, and he always knew when jobs were coming in and stuff. So he used to, he would know there was like a third alarm in Manhattan or something, or in the Bronx or something. So he'd come to work and he would check the book, because back then they were supposed to put the runs in the book, the bells, third alarm somewhere.
Right.
So he came to work one day and he looked in the book, and Chief Nigro was on watch, and he said to him, you didn't put the multiples in. What happened here? And Chief said, the commissioner said he got yelled at by my father.
See that?
So
That's why you and him, you call him Danny, right? You're like, "Hey, Danny."
no.
Danny.
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 I'm the first one, Danny.
Danny. You're my friend, Danny.
Yeah, but it was all good. All
right, so that's how you got in. So you got appointed in 81, right? Only 6 weeks in Proby School back then?
Yeah. So, and 1 week was paperwork, so it was really like 5 weeks.
Wow.
I swear.
What is it now, Ruffy? I don't even know. What is it?
I think it's like 6 months.
I think 18 weeks, is it? Maybe 4 months? I don't know exactly.
What do we do? 13 weeks? Something like that? I don't remember.
I did 8 weeks.
Maybe it did.
Wow.
Yeah.
8 weeks?
Yeah.
And I remember some of the classes. One of the classes was on counting the bells. One of the classes was on how to slide the pole.
Really?
They had an outside pole
I
over
remember
there.
one of our weeks was, I think it was 8 weeks. It might have been shorter than that. I think it was 1 week was the peace officer training. It was a whole week of peace officer training.
Yeah.
They did that with us, but it was 1 day a week. It was like one Wednesday every week for 5 weeks. Yeah.
I think mine was 13 weeks, because I got in October, and we graduated in January. I was in the firehouse in January, so
Wow.
13 weeks.
Yeah. I September 5th, I was in the firehouse by October 15th. It was so fast.
Wow.
It was so fast.
That was my appointment date, October 15th. So you got assigned to 312
Astoria.
in Astoria, in 81.
Right.
And then how
Was Sal's was the place right across the street over there under the L? Was that there? The deli?
The
old
deli.
man?
The deli over there where you can buy the bomb.
Yeah, the giant.
Yeah, the bomb.
Yeah.
There he is. Look at him.
Yeah. That was
Fresh.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that was there, but it wasn't like it was, I used to get sent over there all the time to buy cigarettes and stuff by the boss.
Thanks for keeping me safe. I was 6 years old when you were on the job. So
Really?
Nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had a good boss over there that I remember a lot of stuff he told me. He was a fairly young guy, Lieutenant Krebs. He was a medal winner from 17 truck. He must have got promoted and was covering over there.
Uh-huh.
And he was my boss there, and I remember him a lot. He was good to me. But
So how long are you there? I mean, that's not the busiest of places. How long? Are you
no, back then in '81 too, it was quiet over there.
Yeah.
And that's why I was kind of like losing my mind. I was upset about it. Like, what the hell? My friend Pete Martin, because we were in the Volleys together, me and Pete.
Right.
And he was saying, you got to come to Brooklyn. You got to come to Brooklyn. And I said, all right, I'll see what I could do. But I got myself, I was there for a year. I think October, I transferred the following November. But I pulled a stunt one night, which helped me get transferred when I didn't mean to. Well, it was like a fifth alarm in Bushwick one night, and Georgie Munch was one of the dispatchers in Brooklyn. So I called him up. I said, can we go to the fire? And he goes, I'll see what I could do. And like 10 seconds later, we were relocating to 271 from 312. And the guys there, they were great guys. They were all good guys. And they were starting to get young guys because it was an older house. And some of the guys were like, what the hell? They were like, we're going to Bushwick. And they weren't,
weren't too happy. Who the hell called? Oh, it was him.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we went.
Proby.
We relocated to Bushwick, and we didn't ever went to the fire, but at least we got close. We got back to the firehouse, and like 3:00 in the morning, the boss called me upstairs and said, "Do you have anything to do with that?" And I was looking at him. I didn't know what to say, so I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, go on downstairs. I got to get you out of here." And
Really?
The next week, he told me to put a paper in, and 2 weeks, a couple of weeks after that, I got transferred.
Really?
I went to 332.
So how did you pick that place? What were you thinking? Without knowing nothing, right?
No, nothing. Pete Martin said, listen, these are good companies here. Put these companies down. Because I was pretty tight with Pete in the Volleys.
Where was he working at the time?
If he wasn't in 234, he was already in 123.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, he helped me out a lot too. And then I put in for that. And then next thing you know, I got it. And I'm like, oh my God.
So how long are you in 332 before you catch your first job?
Well, in 312, I caught a job on my second tour.
Oh,
My very second, yeah. Lou, you would know better. I think it was called the Metropolitan Houses.
The Metropolis.
Metropolis, that's it. Yeah. It was my second day tour, and we got a phone alarm around noontime, and it was a job. It was like a half a bedroom going, but I'll never forget because there were two guys from Rescue 4 detailed at 312 back then. It was like the whole battalion, right?
Right.
So the one guy was Rakowski, I think his name was, and Forthmeyer. I remember the names because when we were outside packing hose, and they knew I was a Proby and stuff, and they go, "Hey, you like that shit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is great." He goes, "Did you buy a flashlight yet?" And I go, "No." He goes, "Don't buy pajamas." And I'm like, so I was like, oh my, yeah, it made me feel worse. So he made me feel worse. But then, like a couple, I got
Very subtle.
Very, oh yeah, they were.
Oh my God.
They were teasing me the whole day, and then then the house started teasing me after that because I put a paper in. But a lot of them guys who stayed there, the younger guys who got there, they all got promoted. And they were, it was a good house. It was a good house.
So did you even have a year on before you went to 332, or
a year and a month? Well, year and 2 months maybe.
All right. So now, how long are you in 332 before you catch your first job?
It's a single house then, right?
Yeah, it was a single house back then. I was on Liberty Avenue between Ashford and Cleveland.
What'd you have to do? Butter that thing up to get it in those quarters?
Get a little grease.
Grease it up.
You think that's bad? You should go to C236 down the road. It's worse.
Too,
yeah.
Worse than that?
Yeah, it's tight, man.
Yeah.
252 is the same kind of, it's tight too.
Yeah. I was there. I think it was like my second night tour there. I remember the first day I drove there. And I'm driving down Liberty Avenue, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, there's all vacants, and there's like empty lots. I'm going, what the hell am I doing here? These are good.
Martin, right there.
Yeah, there's P. Martin there. That was at a job on Cleveland Street and Fulton. And came over. I got it. So, well, God rest his soul.
Yeah, you were saying you were his best man? Is that?
I was the best. Yeah, I was best man at his wedding. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, his reception was in Fort Hamilton. And in down at the Army base, I'll never forget that either because they had a phone alarm that night till the FDNY pulled up. I don't know if somebody pulled the box or what.
Yeah.
But the fire department showed up at his wedding. So I was
Fix. I think the fix is
I
in.
think the fix
Allegedly.
is allegedly.
Could have been maybe. I heard about it. I don't know.
Yeah. So I went to my first night. One of the first nights in 332, we went to a third alarm down on Church Avenue by Brookdale Hospital, and I only know now that it was a 283 first new box. And
Never heard of him.
Yeah. So I didn't take long to go to the fires.
Yeah.
It was good.
Was it anything like this one here? Oh my God.
So
this is 332, right?
This is 332. That was a factory, Glenmore in Cleveland, I think it was, and it was around the block from the firehouse.
I was going to say your first dude there, right?
Yeah, first dude there. And
I'm trying to I want to describe this for the viewers who are listening.
That's kind of like the fire that we just saw in, that was in
Fairfax,
Virginia. I said I don't think I've ever seen a fire like that coming out of every window.
I don't think there's a window there that's not on fire. Right there.
Imagine a campfire, but the camera zoomed in tight on the fire, and that's all you see.
That's only one side too, because you got to picture three sides of it like that.
Did you guys even get in there? Did you operate there?
No. It was stangs right away, and and hand lines in the street, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then they backed us up a block.
And this second photo here is even better. Oh my God.
Yeah. That was taken by one of the guys coming to work early in the morning, and I think he had one of them little camera things in his car.
Cameras?
I was going to say 110, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A flat camera.
The other one to that is I think Lou, I had sent it to you. The picture of 90 was coming down the block. And
I posted that on the Instagram. I don't have that here, but I posted it on the Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
what were they? Were they running the other way? 290?
No.
A little dig there. 290 dig. Not 90.
No. It was
Peter. There was one. I know Rob wanted to talk about. The guys are going up the aerial.
332 job. Oh,
yeah,
this one's
What's
crazy.
That's actually that was a church fire on New Jersey Avenue. It was a second alarm that night, and the lightning hit the choir loft up in the top of the church. So that's where the main fire was. But it must have followed the electric down, and it hit. It started a fire in the basement. But we stretched the line up to the choir loft. We knocked the fire down, and they brought the masks out and everything else. But then I think the truck realized that there was. I think maybe it was rescue. I don't remember, but they said there's fire in the basement. So now we're up there with no masks, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I got these pictures from a buff from Boston. Maybe he was riding with 120, and we were up in the choir loft, and we really couldn't get down. And Lieutenant Cox was our boss that night, and he got injured that night. Never came back from the job because he fell either off the choir loft or down the stairs.
Oh shit!
And we couldn't come down the stairs. You know how we got out that night is 175 Fireman Rinston. I believe it was him. There was plexiglass over the stained glass,
right.
so the kids couldn't throw rocks through it,
right.
and they couldn't get through it, and they finally got through it. And we came out through those windows up there. But I remember on the floor that night, because there was three of us on the line, and then the captain, McNulty from 175. And I remember, crawling around because we were trying to figure out a way to get out. And I remember touching his boot and saying, "Cap, how do we get out of here?" And when, he was like great fireman. And I remember him telling me, "I don't fucking know." And I'm like, holy shit.
The only words you didn't want to hear.
That's
right. You wanted him to say something like, "Take it easy, kid. We got it."
No.
Grab my coat. I got you.
But I stayed with him. I remember saying to myself, "Oh my God, this is where they're going to find me with the captain." So that was good. But but they got the windows. They special called Rescue 4 that night, I believe.
Really?
To that because I remember reading the stuff afterwards about it.
Is the church still there?
Yeah, it's still there. It's on New Jersey, but I think it's between Liberty and Glenmore. Yeah, it's still there. And that was two of the shots I got from him afterwards. I wrote him a letter. He sent them to me because that's us coming down the ladder, not coming up.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know, it was good.
Who were some of the guys at 332 when you got there?
Well, I had some. Well, Captain McKenna was the boss there, and he was one of the tough old guys, and the firemen were all good guys, and I was a new guy coming in. You know, I'm like, where's this guy coming from? Queens, you know, and I had some good bosses in 332. Later on, when we finally moved, Jack Kleehouse was one of the lieutenants. Al Hay was one of the lieutenants. Kevin Connolly, his son is
chief.
He's a chief up in the 27 battalion now. His father was a good boss, man. That's the beauty in this job, though. I mean, everywhere you go, you seem to have good bosses.
Yeah,
and I was lucky with that, you know. So no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was in 332 from 82 to 85, and then we moved to the new quarters.
Were you excited about that? I was going to ask you about that. Was it good or bad? Like,
well,
initially, right? Not so good.
Not so good. Not so good.
Jim said that too, right?
You know what the problem was? You had two fiercely aggressive companies, and you're putting them together under a single house. And now all of a sudden, everybody's looking at each other, sizing each other up. You know, I think the house really changed over when a lot of guys got promoted. I mean, it was still a good house and everything, but like you said, two fiercely aggressive companies,
set in their ways, right?
And coming together, and you know, it was good. It took a while. That's all.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know, they were still your first new truck, right? When you rolled into stuff.
What do you mean? Were they
175 was?
Always it was always.
Truck,
that's
right?
how we knew everybody. It was 175 was the first new truck. 107 going the other way. 103 coming.
Right.
You know. So
you had to know the guys already.
Yeah,
right?
you did, but you know, you're living with them now.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
true. Yeah.
You're not like you're saying each other, waving each other on pull boxes, and now all of a sudden you're under the same roof.
Well, that was all the funny stories with 270 and 126, right? When they were doing the quarters and stuff. I know that they had some funny things and some not so funny things. You know, I guess. But time goes by. It gets, you know, like you said, the jobs change. Yeah, the people change a little bit. They come in, they don't know any better, right?
Yeah.
And
you know, one of the first tours I got detailed from 332 to 290. I always remember going upstairs, and there was like a cutout of an office, and I'm going, what was in there? And they said that was 103.2 in there. And I'm like, wow, now you're talking, you know.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That was in 332's quarters, you mean? At first?
Well, no, when I got detailed to 290.
Oh, 290, right.
From 332. I used to like going down to 290. You know, it was a lot of characters.
Was there any buildings on the block then? Or no?
Yeah, there were. Yeah, across the street, the next door, there was a few. Yeah, I had to buy a birdhouse. One of the tours I went there was a guy named Bayberry. He was selling these elaborate birdhouses. They look like cathedrals.
Really?
He said, you got to buy one. I'm like, all right.
All right. Well, actually, I got that picture of PD of 290, the running. With the Hasselhoff shorts.
I got you, Hass. There you go.
All right, so that's Gary Hoeing, right? That's
Gary Hoeing, Dickie Frayne, Richie Steyer, the chief of the guy in the front is Clem Wingert. I think he was a boss in 90. I don't know him. They only let me come down there to run the race, and that was it. Then I had to go back. You know. Yeah.
So that you guys were good runners?
No. It was
shenanigans.
It was an Ocean to the Sound relay race. It started at Jones Beach. It went up to Cold Spring Harbor, and then it finished at Nassau Community College. So it was like 8 legs of 6 miles each, and you had to follow the runners with the car and everything. So when they picked me up, I'm looking in the back of the car, and I said, "There's no room to sit. It's just full of beer." So all right, you know, we drank a lot, you know. During the race,
Richie.
I think there was like 50 teams, and then we finished on like 48. You know, so
Richie,
it's not 50.
He was my chauffeur, and you know, pretty easygoing guy, right? I mean, he would drive quick, but not out of control. You know, he was just, you know, we would get to the box. If it was, you know, EMS or something, he would open up his book and he would read until, you know, whatever. But on fire calls, you better get on the rig, right? So I remember one time, you know, Box comes in. I think 231 was first due. And I know it's right away. I hear the address. I know it's a close box. So I open up the door and I'm putting my bunker gear on, right? And he's already in. And I'm bucking up and I look up and I'm like, "Are we first due?" And he goes, "If you get on the fucking rig, maybe." And we ended up getting in first due. But, he didn't say much though. He wasn't a big talker.
No, I remember him just from the races and stuff and getting detailed down there. We had some fair shovers in 332. We had Pete Kaiser, and he was we used to call one Glenmore and Cleveland. We were Glenmore and Kaiser because he would fly through that corner, man. Oh my God! But it was fun.
I know. That's what Fraser used to say.
So even back then, guy, would you be racing each other's into the box when you were 332?
I think everybody was racing. I don't think they were racing each other. I think everybody just turned out fast. I tell you a funny story. I worked with Billy Quick a couple of times down there when he was down there. And one night I got detailed down there, and they were teasing him, and they said, "How many jobs have you been to, Billy?" And I was there. I got to 332. I was there maybe a couple months. They took the deal. So I was on the job a year and a half. So they said to me, "How many jobs you been to?" And I said, "I don't know, 3 or 4." I was, I lowballed it. And they said to Billy, "How many you been to?" And now he's on the job 3 months longer than me. And he goes, "I don't know, 25, 30. So, they just lowered the boom on him that night. So how the hell did you been to 25 and this guy went to 3? I'm like, I don't know, but he was good, Billy.
Yeah. Quickster.
Pete, there's a hold on for a second. Yeah. There's a picture of the guy standing around the burn barrel. I think Rob he's at 332. There's a couple guys from 103. Yeah. A couple guys from 107.
Yeah.
It's a black and white.
I got you, brother.
107. Where's that?
Gonzo, where's that?
That's Ronzoni.
Oh, Ronzoni. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that was a multiple on Atlantic and Van Sicklin, and it was a cold winter day, and obviously nobody was going in, so we just started our own burn barrel.
252.
250 guy from 252 there. Yeah,
Ludwig, right?
Yeah, right. And Seeley, Cini.
That's Joe Cini. I'm gonna try and get him on.
Yeah. I remember me and him got promoted at about the same time. We were both down on the list a little bit. And
no, I don't see there. I don't see Bucky.
I knew that was coming.
I got a more serious question coming in from the super chat super chat. So this man paid to ask this question. That's from MC's audio. And the question is, in dangerous situations like the one you were describing before when you were in that fire and you couldn't see, and you asked your guy, "What do we do here? How do we get out of here?" And he's like, "How the hell should I know?" He said, especially in fires of that magnitude, what's the key that allows a firefighter to maintain focus?
You know what? That's a tough question. I mean, that was before bunker gear. Nobody had radios. It was a little different then.
Time,
prayers.
Well, I'm saying at his time, he only had a year on, or whatever it was, a year and a half.
When that happened, I think I had like 4 years, maybe.
Oh, that was 4 years. All right.
Yeah,
that might be a little different. Still not like when you have 30 years. You know what I mean? It's totally different how you react to stuff.
Honestly, how much do we say is straight up luck, bro? You're right.
There's no doubt you're lucky.
I mean, you see some of the close calls. It's just.
But if you don't panic. Right. No. I mean, if you try and stay, the older you get and the more time you get, more experience you get, you don't start panicking.
No, I mean, that night we stayed with Captain McNulty and he let us out. I mean, that was it. And that was, he had time, he had experience, and we were all young. So,
I guess stay calm.
Stay calm. Yeah, he did.
If you panic now, you'll panic on the firefly.
If you panic looking at your door 4 doors down, you'll panic.
I wasn't even the sad part is I was in Dix Hills at the time.
If you run to Dix Hills from Long Beach because there's a fire on your block.
There's no excuse you can throw out there. I don't want to hear any facts.
care.
Facts have nothing to do with it.
You think I'm ever running into a
Now,
fire?
Lou,
I'm running out of them.
Facts have no bearing on a private story.
Do not let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I'm sitting there going, I'm telling Kev, oh my God, they're pulling line from around the block. It's going through the yards. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, we saw the picture of the
Yeah, this is how much smoke was there. Ready? That's about how much smoke was there. Pete was.
Oh, that's great.
I just thought my house was going to go on fire before I was about to sell it. So that was the problem.
That what it was?
Yeah.
I'm pouring another one.
You know, when
the Fat Facts video.
when we were moving into the new quarters, and you know, one of the things that was tough was that when you were on Liberty Avenue and you transferred it into Liberty Avenue, you transferred there to be in the engine. Then we went in the double house when guys came into the engine. You know, you always were looking at them. Well, yeah, you came here to go to the truck.
Right.
So I remember one of the guys once.
No, it's a good point. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, you know, so
inevitably you can't get to the truck right away, so you come to the engine to get to the truck.
To get to the truck. So I mean, that wasn't. It happens all over, and it's a part of the job. But you know, when you're coming from Liberty Avenue, it was like, you know, hey, what is this guy coming for?
Yeah.
And one of the guys said to me, well, if it bothers you, why don't you go down to 236? And I'm like, well, I don't want to change my helmet shield again. You know, I don't want that. I just started getting this one dirty. I'm not going to do this again. So,
how long did you guys know that was coming? Like, was there?
You know, it was probably all. I have pictures. I actually used to leave work and I took pictures of them building the new quarters.
Uh-huh.
And it was probably a year and a half, but nobody believed it. You know, like, this ain't really going to happen. This ain't really. And then it happened. You knew it was going to happen because all of a sudden the city came in and painted the inside of 332, gave us a new exhaust fan for the.
Right. They'll never use again. Yeah.
That was the kiss of death. You know, they're going to use it for a couple of months and it's gone.
And all the guys in the kitchen said that'll never happen.
That'll never happen.
That's when you know it's a guarantee. Put all your money on red because it's going to happen.
Exactly.
So
they'll never do that.
Yeah. Do they close the firehouse for a day and move them over, or how does it work?
No, we got moved. I'm pretty sure. What do they call them? The salvage unit moved into our old quarters in 332, and 175. I think the marshals took that over for a little while. And then eventually 175, I think, went vacant, and our place got bought out. It was I don't know, you have to check with the guys working there now. Maybe it went to be a church for a while, a Puerto Rican church, and then after that it's something else. But 332, actually, I think they had a fire in the building next door a few years ago. Uh-huh. But, you know, I think I was working the night that came over.
So did they just like, let's say Monday, you're taking the rig, you're driving it over to the new firehouse, and you start there
with the pots and pans and everything. That's
yeah. You're just going. I mean, it was August. I think it was August '85 or something. Or maybe July of '85. Oh, 9. You know, I think they shut us down at 9 o'clock and 12 noon. You had the ceremony, and boom, that was it. You're in the new quarters.
Oh wow,
Kev, who was the boss in hazmat? That he passed away in 9/11. He was at 332. He was in 332. What was his name?
Creasy.
Yeah, Creasy.
Yes,
Creasy.
yes.
He always talked about 332, man. He freaking loved it there, you know.
Yeah, I remember him. Yes.
That's why you can never. We say it all the time, right, Rafi? If a guy working in hazmat, you don't know where this guy's been. You're like, he's in hazmat. What a blowjob, right?
Yeah. You know, most of those guys can't. You know who I used to do that to? The chief. The hazmat battalion, the main guy, Jack
Fanning.
Could you imagine that guy? He had lettuce on his thing like this big.
Yeah, man, and he was in busy places.
Real deal guy, right?
On a 26 truck, I think. And
could you imagine? I had 5 years on the job, and I would look at that guy like
he was in 332 for a while.
He was too.
Yeah, he was there too. Yes.
What a he was such a nice guy, man. He really was such a nice guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was. I remember working with him a little bit too. And then I think I don't remember. I think I got promoted. I don't remember what happened with him. You know,
was Mike there at that time?
Mike
in the truck. Perone.
Oh, Mike was in 236.
At that time.
Yeah, I think he came down the road
after.
Yeah, I think he came after I got promoted. He went to 175 because I left in 91, and I was at the tail end of the list. But was a big changeover with that because both companies put 11 guys on the
wow.
So it was like 20 guys change over in the house, and that's
that's always a sad thing, like it's such a weird. I mean, it happens. It's part of the job, right? But
when a new house like that, though, it might be good.
Yeah, it's good. Probably.
It probably was good. New guys come in, and
Yeah, I used to some of the guys in 175. I mean, Harry Davis and Jerry.
Harry Davis, right?
Yeah, Jerry Moriarty, and some of them guys. Well, I used to, being an engineman, I used to look up at these guys and go, "Wow, these guys know this."
Did you work in the truck at all, Bobby?
Not that much. No, not that much. And in the beginning, they didn't. The captain only wanted one of us at a time. And I said, I'll go to a fire in the engine. I don't care. I like being in the engine anyway. I was a little kid. I used to squirt water with the garden hose in my parents' windows. And I'm like, so I want to
knock it off.
Fucking the TV's buzzing out. Right? The TV's like staticky.
My mother would be yelling at my father. See what you did to this kid?
Did to this guy? Right.
What them?
Yeah, it was all good though. It was yeah. And then when we went to 332, I mean that's when Jack Kleehouse came and Al Hay and then Jack left to go to 41, and he took two guys with him, Joe Murata and Billy Flynn, and they asked me to go, but I didn't. I wanted to get promoted out of 332, and I know I actually stayed. Had to wait longer to get promoted, but he took two of the best guys. Billy Flynn was one of the toughest firemen I've ever worked with, and he was a young guy like us. Man, and he got injured later on right before the bunker gear. He fell out of a third-story window in Bushwick and got burned. But there's a guy who would have been. I swear to God, he could have been a deputy right now because he was that good. And Joe Murata. Joe ended up going up to squad 41, but then he came back to 175. Yeah, so Jack. I like working with Jack Kleehouse.
I was just going to ask you, how'd you like working with him?
He was good. He always thinking guy. Always thinking. And you stay up all night talking about stuff. It was always a lot of good times.
I used to like that when I was a kid, talking to the boy. You go in the office, the light would be on, right? The door was open.
Yep.
And you would say, whatever it is, 12, 1 o'clock, you get up to go take a leak or something, whatever it was. And you go in there. Next thing you know, 2 hours goes by, you're bullshitting about everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to like to do that I'm sure you did the same thing when you were a boss, having guys come in the office and shoot the shit and one-on-one. Especially
later on, after I got promoted at a 330, 32, can I move on or could
yeah.
No.
You're going wherever you're going. Kid.
No, because I'm sure now. Jack was one of them guys. You could stay in there all night, and we talked about everything, and it was a lot of fun. Then the only time you would pay in the morning because you realize, gee, I was up all night. I'm like,
I got to go to my side job.
I want to go home and go to bed now. But I got promoted there in 91, and that's when at the end of the list they made a lot of guys. They made like 200 guys, and they put us in all different places. Some guys went to Social Club Task Force. I went to the Rock. 30 of us went to the Rock, and we had to teach Proby classes. And I was like, you were happy you were getting promoted.
Somebody actually emailed me or posted something on one of the Facebook pages and said that you were in their Proby class teaching. He remembers you at Proby School when he was going through it.
Yeah. I actually the Westchester, some upstate newspaper came down, took pictures of us, and there was a kid from 170, Rob Lowe, I think his name was. They took pictures of me with him doing a drill with 2.5 and everything, and it was I ended up keeping that newspaper and stuff. But it was, I taught engine operations. It was easy for me. I didn't even have to look in the books.
It's your bread and butter right there, bud.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was always.
How many classes? One class, two classes?
Two classes.
Oh, two classes.
August, and it was till January. It was 2 classes then. It was 8, and then again, I think it was in October, the second one.
Someone in the chat here is saying, tell them about our crazy kitchen remodel in E312.
Yeah, well, when I was at 312, the 49 Battalion was in
117.
117.
Right.
And we had plenty of room in 312. And they built a racquetball court on the second floor.
Yeah, they still had it up there, right?
In 312. But then later on, the 49 moved over, right?
Yeah, they moved over there,
Yeah.
Probably about that time, because I got to 117 in 93, and they just moved. They must have just moved like within the year.
Right.
Their office was still upstairs. It still had some of their file cabinets and all that crap there. I'm sure Chief Cleow said he spit that number right out, but it was probably about that time.
I remember from then, because I always used to say, why isn't the chief here? You know, because they got so much room in
yeah, they were squished in quarters over there, right?
Right.
They had to be like snuck up against the wall with the truck there.
Yeah. And then, you know, so the remodeling the kitchen, I think I was just leaving when that happens. One night they came in and they just decided to do the whole kitchen over, and all of a sudden it was all gone. I'm like, wow. I'm glad I missed that, you know.
Yeah. So after you go to the Rock, you start covering in Division 11?
Yeah, I went out to the field, and my first tour was in 271 engine. And I was a couple of tours there, and they put me in an R group right away.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, 271, 106, 238. Matter of fact, there's a Chief Mikowitz on the job now.
Steve Mikowitz. Yeah, he actually texted me and said that you told him. I think he had the nozzle for the first time you said to stretch a line, right?
Yeah, and he stretched the line. He stretched the first time I asked for the line. He stretched it.
I didn't put two and two together because I know he was in that house. I was thinking 283, and it didn't make sense to me. But now,
yeah. Where was Stevie? Which house you talking about?
He was in 271.
Right. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They started.
You mean Chief Mikowitz now?
Chief Mikowitz. Yeah. Yes.
Big shot, the big cheese, the big whiz.
The big whiz. Yeah. So I covered it. I covered there, and then one day, I was part of the R group was 229 and 146, and one day I was in 229 and
third floor kitchen.
Yeah, that was a beautiful.
Yeah, I got a great spot.
Another nice house.
Yeah, great area.
Yeah, and the back of the firehouse, the 3-4 corner, there was an oil yard there that I think went out of business, and they had a pit for a mechanics pit, for working on the trucks, and it was full of water. So we were talking about it, and they said they wanted to use the pit. So we said, let's draft. And we'll, draft the water out of there.
Shit.
So we were out there drafting that, and the division shows up, and they want to know what we're drilling on. So he comes walking around. He sees me drilling with for drafting the oil pit. And I look great. A week later, I'm on the order. I got 229 engine.
We want this guy in the division.
Yeah. In retrospect, it wasn't a bad time for me. It worked out well because my father was suffering from cancer then. And at the end of it, so I had 24s and stuff. My father was one of them phone company guys. He
worked for the phone company fire?
Yeah, he had the phone company fire. I think I actually talked to Chief Cleow about this. Those guys, every generation seems to have a folder with, like his folder had a red dot on it because he was one of the phone company guys. But after he retired in 84, he only 6 years, 7 years.
Ah, shit.
But so I took the spot. Well, actually, it might have been a little longer. But I got the spot, and it was good for me because I was able to run back and forth to the hospital and stuff. But so I was in 229 for a while.
What year was that?
92, 93, maybe 93.
Till spring of 93. That's what it says.
Actually, it's funny, Lou. You were talking about guys coming in the kitchens and stuff. 146 had two guys who used to come in the kitchen all the time and come up to the office all the time. We would bullshit all night long. Kenny Marino.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's right. He was in 146. That's right. I forgot about that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Pearsall.
No shit.
Oh, yeah. Pearsall, really?
So I got to know those guys when I was in 229 because we would talk all night. We talk about the volleys.
I remember when Kenny came to 117. It was it was probably right around that time, 94, 95.
Right. Because I was gone and I had left there. But those were two guys that you sat in the office and you knew were going places. I mean, they
loved the job, man. Loved the job.
I remember
he oozed the job, man.
When he was in 146, I think he helped reorganize the blocks for the the Hearst tool, and and even Durrell, he was the two of them were. So
you can always tell guys. I mean, most guys love the job, but then there's guys who like really just
live it. They're living it. It's
live the job, man. Really. Yeah.
Yeah. They used to come in the office at night, and it was those were late nights. Those were fun nights, though.
Yeah.
I just wish we did more there. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, I came out to my car one day. I was leaving 229 one day, and I see a guy sitting in my car. I'm like, "What's this guy?" Some homeless guy decided he broke into my car to sleep.
Oh. Hey, he needed a little warmth. You know?
Yeah, he burned the seats with his cigarettes and everything else, and then he saw me coming. He ran away. I'm like,
you can't make it up. You can't make that up.
You can't make that up.
Nope.
No.
I had one of those in Astoria myself. The little vestibules when you open the front door before they used to lock them all. I had a guy sleeping right there, smashing his head with the door. I'm like, what's going on here? What's stuck?
Yeah. Well, I did like the kitchen in that firehouse. I mean, it was up, it was a lot of stairs.
You want to know something? I teach. I used to go around their SOC support now. Right. There was a senior guy there. I forget what his name was. Tall guy.
Jeff. Kulikowski?
Yeah, I think that was.
Jeff Bucky. I'm hell bent on getting people.
But I will say this: those guys were always. Every time you go to these places, sometimes they drill, sometimes they don't drill. They want to drill. Every time I went there, the guys were great. Yeah. They always drilled. They're always on. Even the young guys, they were on top of their game. The senior guy, that guy in particular, I think he got out recently. But
yes,
he did. He was a sweetheart, and the guys did what he did, and they always did the right thing over there.
No, yeah, I think their nickname was the mother of all engines or something like that.
Somebody just asked that if that was their nickname. Somebody asked that in the chat. Yeah, the mother of all engines.
Yeah, I remember that. I used to. Listen, it was a strange neighborhood because I used to think they would do more.
Yeah.
Because it was,
well, they have the South Side, right? I mean, they would go into the South Side. I think
a lot of Dominicanos over there, right? Dominicanos in the South Side, right?
Yeah. And
most of it, Graham Avenue, that was all Italian. At least you get to eat good over there, right? Holy lady over there, and on Graham Avenue, Frost.
Frost, yeah. That was good though. But
so, what made you want to move on then? Did you?
You know what? I used to sit. I liked the running. It came back to bite me later on.
Yeah, that's usually how it works.
But I like to run, and so I says, I want to go back to where I was. So I saw on the orders that 283 was open. So I said, I'm not going to put in for everything. I'm just going to put in for one house, and I was lucky. I got it. I went back there in Labor Day '94. And I always felt like I sat in a tub of butter when I went there, man. It was so, it's 283 is one of them great places where if you look at a wagon wheel, they're in the middle, and every spoke goes to a busy neighborhood or a busy engine and truck.
Right in the.
I mean,
they're right.
You're rolling in with 120, 103, 170, 174. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Yeah. And you're right in the middle of it.
And they were in the division, right?
Yeah, we're in the division. And
home run right there, man.
That
I'm available.
Yeah.
and nobody bothers you at night.
That was a big firehouse over there.
Well, you're cooking the Chiefs meals every night. You know what I mean? So
No, it was a great place, and I was blessed to get some great chauffeurs when I got there right away. And you know what? I got to tell you, what's funny about when you go to a place like that. I think you'll learn your craft as an engine officer better in a single house than you do in a double house.
Why do you say that?
Because when you're in a double house and you're rolling out, you got another boss right with you, and you're not on the radio as much. I don't know. I just felt like when I went
you guys are by yourself there for a little while, right?
Yeah,
you're there for a little bit.
Yeah, when I got to 283, now you're on the radio more. The chief's asking you more stuff because there's no truck in.
Right.
And I really, really think you'll learn your craft better in a single house.
Right.
And that's what I like when I went there, man. And I mean, I had 4 good chauffeurs, 4 guys that could get water out of a stone. I mean, Kevin O'Connor, Tommy Goodhart, Bobby Johnson, Johnny Hughes. Those guys were, they were great guys.
How long did you have them for? You had them for a long time?
Well, 94 through 9/11, I would think. And then after 9/11, we were a real senior company up to 9/11, and then after that, it kind of like I think I went through 3 generations of guys at least.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Over in 283, in addition to the oil burner and the everything.
When you got more time than the oil burner, you're getting old, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So we went there with my boy. 2 guys from my Proby class, Mikey O'Neill and Vinny O'Grady, came there, right?
Oh yeah.
Vinny O'Grady was there. I didn't know.
Couple of Italians, huh?
Yeah.
Vinny, they both came as Probies. I remember them. Yeah. Vinny was funny.
Vinny was Vinny.
Vinny was Vinny. He'd come to work, and the first thing we'd do was go in the locker, where the officer's gear is, and he'd, all right, who caught the job? And he would start checking out the gear. Yes.
I used to do that too.
I love this guy, man. He's the best. Yeah,
he was a good guy, man.
Yeah.
He was a bull.
Mikey O'Neill. Mike
too. Yeah.
He was a cop first, I think, Mike, for a while.
Yeah, Mike was a cop. Yeah.
Is he still on the job, Mikey?
I think he's in Staten Island. I think
Oh, okay.
Yes, he's in Staten Island. He left 283 after. 283. The running gets punishing some nights over there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're talking 10 runs after midnight. And that's not uncommon.
Right.
And but he did a long time there, and then he went out to Staten Island.
I don't know how, dude. I don't know how. I did 8 years there in 29103. I don't know how. After a while, you just it starts to really. I mean, when you think about how many times you got on and off the rig, I mean, after let's say this, 25 years, Kev, the man did in 283.
Yeah.
Say that's somebody's career. He did 25 years in 283. How many runs are they doing a year? 6,000 over.
Well, when I got there, it was 4,500. 5. It was up to 6. It's about the
real deal.
6,000 runs a year. What is that, Pete? Do your math. What is that?
Yeah, do the math. That's
a lot of fucking runs.
That's a lot of. That's why he's got all that gray hair on his head.
Yeah.
Still got it.
He's got his hair. I'll take it.
All right.
You know what? We have a big quarters there, so like every time they would renovate another firehouse in the area,
they would bring somebody there, right?
We was like Motel 8.
I do remember that actually. I do remember they would bring a company there.
120 was with us for a while.
16 runs a day on average.
Yeah. And some days you were lucky; you only had 2 or 3 in the day tour, but you paid dearly at night.
Oh, it was always night.
I would pay dearly at night.
Go to sleep. I used to yell out the window, "Go to sleep."
Yeah. Then later on, they brought 174 in, and they were there for a while when they were doing their quarters.
Never heard of them.
Oh, let me tell you that. The one thing one time I lost my mind was when they were in our quarters, and 310 went to 248, and 248. They redid the boxes, so like.
You got screwed.
We got a lot of boxes.
You got
so one night we get a medical EMS run for a drunk sleep in front of 174's quarters in their doorstep because they were working on a quarters. The place was vacant, and I'm saying, I'm going. Now we had like maybe 15 runs that night, and 310 had like 3. And I'm going to I'm going to a drunk in front of their quarters.
Why am I coming here? Right.
There's no reason for this.
So you ran for your work there.
You ran. You did.
Because 332 and 175, they didn't do as much running for their work, right? That's one of the better places where the run work.
Well, they don't have you have projects there, Rob?
No. First do 2 projects. That's it. Rockaway and Livonia, just the 2. The rest were all second and third due down over there.
Yeah, that's the difference is the projects.
Yeah, but back when I was in 332, it was pull boxes too, and so you had to run. You had to run in, and in '95 when EMS took over, you traded the pull boxes for EMS.
Yeah, right.
So instead of just riding up and rewinding a box, now you're going in and you're checking on.
Your baby's sitting on somebody who's waiting for an ambulance.
Right, your babysitting.
Peter, we had a couple of pictures of some nice jabs over at 283. A couple of jabs. Fire out the windows.
Stand by. Got them coming up. This one's a little one right here. No, not too big.
It's nice. That's a typical buildings over there, right? The 2-story jobs.
Yeah. Between Rockaway Parkway and Lennox and Kings Highway and that little triangle there, the 90s streets. That's all good work in there. It's unbelievable. That picture was. I remember that job. It was the Super Bowl before 9/11, and Vinny Morello, who was our Proby, that was his first nozzle job.
Nice.
And we had a buff that night, and he took these pictures.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah, and
that actually looks like somebody standing in the window on the right window. What is that?
I just think the glass. I think it's a reflection there. It's just the glass.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Right. The glass hasn't gone all the way. Right.
Yeah, that was his first job, and then, he later on that year he got sent to 40 or 35 truck, and then the 9/11 hit, and we lost him.
Yeah.
Let
me ask you a question. So you're in the engine most of your career, right?
Right.
And a good portion of it is as a lieutenant. So you've gone to a ton of first do work. Was there any time where you actually wanted to grab the nozzle out of the nozzle man's hand and say, "Yo"?
I got to tell you, I'm not lying, but I had some good. The whole time in 283, no, I never had that. I had good guys, Bobby Detrani. I can go down the list, and Jimmy Lang. Guys who were bulls. I had a job on I think it was 93rd Street one night. This involved rescue. It was funny. It was a cold night. The hydrant was right in front of the building, and black coming out of everything. And we went in. I went down the hallway, and I couldn't find nothing. And I came back out, and I met the boss from 174, and he goes to me, "Where's the fire?" And I go, "I don't know." I said, "You got the fucking camera." You got, So we went back toward the rear, and it was 2 rooms in the rear, and the line's there and everything. He opens the line, and the first thing that happens is my fucking helmet goes flying.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so I didn't want, I'm not gonna. I gotta stay right there. I'm like, okay, here we go, and all of a sudden I feel boop, and wow, they found the helmet quick. That was great. So we went in, we finished the whole thing, and then all of a sudden, a guy from rescue, I think it was Jimmy Sanders, he fucking saved my life that night. He gave me his helmet, and he goes, "Can I have my helmet back now?"
Oh, he put his helmet on your head.
Wow, he put it on my head.
That's a real deal, bro.
Yeah,
move right there.
That's a real deal.
Right there, man.
Yeah. So I mean, guys always have. To me,
Jimmy Sanders is a great guy, man.
Yeah,
He
just got out, right?
He did just get out. He's He's a sweetheart. The guy's a sweetheart.
Man. I mean, funny guy though. We could break balls with the best of them, bro. That guy.
Yeah. Now that they moved rescue, I mean, they're right up the block from.
Right, they're on Sterling there, right? Sterling.
Right, so I mean, that's.
Where is 283 exactly? What street?
Livonia and East 98 and right on the corner. So it's a block off of Kings Highway.
Oh, okay.
So I got a quick question coming here from the chat from a gentleman named Ron Burkhart. He's saying, "Hey Pete, tell Lieutenant Sarno that America's Nozzle Man told me to ask him about East 94th and Winthrop Street job. Sarno always says he never felt heat like that."
Yeah.
Look at his face, bro. Tells it all.
All right.
What you want? Does he want to know about the job? Or?
Yeah.
I want to know about the job.
Now I gotta know what.
We went to this fire, and I think it was like a Saturday morning, and we made a left onto 94th Street, and it was like no smoke showing. It was very little wisps coming around the air conditioner. And I said, start a line, and we started, and we went in, and I unbeknownst to me at the time, it was like a Jumping for Jesus church, it was all, but we got in there, and it was black. I'm like, holy shit. And we started going in, and it got so fucking hot. And I'm hearing the truck yelling, it's back here. And I'm telling the nozzle man, America's Nozzle Man, I said, I don't care where it is, open it up over our heads. And he opened it up, and it
cooled everything down.
It got better, and we eventually got to the rear, and it was going really good in the rear. But when we went out afterwards, Chief Richardson was the 3-8 battalion. And he said, "You guys are right?" And I go, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Because it was black rolling. It was starting to turn orange." And that must have been right when he opened the line. Yeah. Because that was.
And who was the guy? Who's the nozzle guy? The American nozzle?
Scotty Rowland.
Scotty Rowland.
I did like 16 years with him. He was, listen, I didn't have any bad nozzlemen in 283.
I love that name right there, American Nozzle Man.
Yeah, there's a picture of the lieutenant. His face is black. What is that's not that job?
No, this
I mean, I was going to say that if I had that picture, I could say I had my first black guy on the show. But
the one with when my face was black.
Yeah. From the you see, it's like a group shot.
I got it. It's coming up. Here it is.
Yeah.
That's salty.
That was a job in Rutland Plaza. That's down 93rd off of East New York Avenue, Lou. It's one of them federal jobs with up and down.
Oh yeah, those buildings suck, man.
Duplex apartments.
Yeah, they suck, those buildings, man.
Yeah, and that was after that because we went down the hallway, and we had enough hose to get to the door and get in the door, and maybe down halfway down the stairs, and that was it. And we were all our bottles went off and everything, and they pulled us out, but. It took us a while to get down there, and I remember the chief saying, "Look, if you don't get there, I'm gonna give a." He made it a second. He was gonna make it a third if we didn't start knocking it down. That was the aftermath afterwards. Mike O'Neill, Mike O'Neill was right there. Yeah, Mike O'Neill on the right. Yeah. And
how many? Mike McVeigh wanted to know how many captains did you go through in 280?
Let's see. I went through like 8 lieutenants and. Charlie Williams was the captain when I got there. He was a chief in in Manhattan in 54 and 4. He was a Rescue 2 guy, Charlie Williams. Then after that was Rocco Rinaldi. So I only went to
Rocco Rinaldi.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was in 283.
Yeah, he was a boss. Yeah, we got him promoted. Me, Gary Benedict.
We got him promoted.
Made him study.
Yeah, because we did everything in the office. Me, Gary Benedict, and Craig Silvino. Craig went on to be. He did a time there, and he went on to be the captain of 127. And Gary stayed in 283.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
He went to 127.
Right.
He was another salty dude, man.
Yeah.
I remember him. He was a freaking.
You got to get him on there too.
You two guys kind of remind me of each other.
Yeah,
yes, you do. Actually, now that you
say
say that. I remember the two of you when I was
two
over there.
Italian guys, yeah.
Yeah.
We worked together, the three of us, Gary, me, and Craig. Before Craig was Mike Marr, and Mike Marr's nephews got 6 nephews on the job.
Shit.
Dennis is in 283 now.
I forgot about that guy. I remember that guy.
Yeah, and so we worked together for like 8 years, me, Gary, and Craig, and we always joked around that we got Rocco promoted because every time he came in the office and tried to do something, we told him, "Don't touch it."
Good one, Peter.
We would tell him, "Don't touch something. We'll do everything." And we did everything, and then he ended up getting promoted. And then Jack Burke came after that. Jack Burke covered for a while, and Jack did. I did. I was there for 25 years, but Jack did 2003, 2 maybe to. He probably did 15, 16 years, and maybe longer, 17 years there. So he did a long time, too.
How about the Chiefs?
Oh, man, I couldn't even tell you how many Chiefs I went through upstairs. Everything from Chief O'Connor and all the way down the line when I went to Brooklyn East, and then I went back to regular division when they renumbered everything. When we ended up getting part of Queens, we would just get overtime in Rockaway. So I says, I'll take $3.29 for a night. Let me try this out.
Yeah.
I went down there on a day tour once on a Sunday, and we had 4 runs, and they wanted to throw me out of the place because
you brought the running with you.
They said we never had 4 runs in here. Last time we had 4 runs in here was
freaking awesome.
Was World War II. I mean,
black cloud, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
One of the runs was a medical run. It was a fireman, having a few drinks and fell asleep on the beach with his girlfriend, and the tide started coming up.
Oh boy!
Fireman,
right?
Yeah.
But.
So that night in that day, I worked another time at 329, and I remember getting up and I looked at the clock and it was like 10:15. I'm like, what the hell? Nobody woke me up. No, I could have died up here. And I went down.
I love it.
Yeah. And then I went downstairs. But then after when they redid the divisions, I went back to we lost Queens and stuff. But that was
Jacko. I like Jacko, man. He got a bad rap on some stuff, but I like that guy.
He was another good guy. He liked to give it out, but you could give it back.
You could give it back to him. You could. Yeah. I always gave it back. He always broke my balls about shaving all the time. But if you went back at him, he would. I don't know. He would ease up on you a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I liked him.
Another thing that happened in 283, which is back when I first got there, 97. I was going through the books one day and I found a lieutenant that was killed in the line of duty and died from the injuries in the line of duty injury in 1947. And I'm looking at the wall and I'm saying to the guys, there's no plaque here. What's going on? So I went through the page and figured out how to do it. And we actually found information that he got injured in 44. He was a lieutenant 283. And he was in the hospital for like 2 years and he died. So we were able to get a plaque for him.
Oh, that's great.
And we ended up finding his family.
Nice.
And they flew down from Syracuse, and we had a big.
Wow, it's great.
Big ceremony. We had a little coalition afterwards.
That's what it's all about, kid.
Yeah, I remember I still have the thank you notes the family sent us because they said they couldn't believe, like the daughter, the granddaughter, and the granddaughter, way back. It turns out this guy he was on the job like 48 years. Back then they didn't know
superannuating.
No, nothing. And it turns out he was born in a firehouse when he was a kid. This guy, he was in 204 engine, and his parents back in the day they had like fire towers, and he would used to his parents were watchers at night, and he was born in that firehouse.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
a home run, man.
That was one of the good things we did back in the day there.
Well, speaking of being born in a firehouse, there's this photo that followed you around your career.
Yeah.
In this one?
Yeah, that was my first rig, and that was
So just for everyone who's listening, this is the LT as a joke. It's a joke photo here.
That picture is proudly hanging right now in the scheduling unit. At the end of my career, I was graciously invited by Lieutenant Rick Bruno, who would be another ace for this forum. I went up there, and then that picture followed me because I did a couple of months on there before I retired. And they used to come in and you go, "Who is this guy?" That's me. Yeah, I was there that long.
You were in 283 so long. They put just so for everyone who's listening to this, not watching, they put a picture of a kid in 283 as Lieutenant Sarno as a child.
Yes,
like 1902 or something.
That's a motorized car, so that has to be.
Oh, all right, yeah. So maybe the 20s then.
Yeah.
No steamers. All right.
No.
We had some more group shots there, Pete. You got any more group shots?
I got so many, brother. Coming up. 1 second. You want the
how's your battery life there, Lou?
You know what? Let me check. I have to check. Hold on a minute. Yeah, it's about 40%. We'll go a little longer.
You're good.
I could switch it over whenever you want.
How about this one here?
You know what? That's after that fire on 94th Street. That's the crew.
That's the super hot is America's Nozzleman in this? I want to know.
Yeah, he's
Come on.
I'm on second from the left, and he's the fourth from the right, rather.
Fourth from the right.
Right, yeah. That's Scotty and Chris Tucker and Rich Damien.
Any of those guys still there?
Chris is a lieutenant, but he's in I think he's going to the boats or something because he's a pretty educated guy. He's got some degrees that the job wants. Richie Damien, I think he's in Rescue 4 now. The second guy from the right.
Nice.
And on the right, all the way to the right, I think he's out of the job. And Scotty's a lieutenant now. He's a lieutenant and he's trying to get back to the 15th.
Huh. Yeah. So the second from the left is America's Nozzleman.
Hey!
Second from the right. I'm looking at the picture.
I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to zoom in
here.
The
right is America's Nozzleman.
I just want to take a moment for our entire audience to look at this man because this is America's Nozzleman. Right. Let's just give him.
Now go home and get your fucking shine.
I'll give him the respect he's due. Very nice, guys.
Good job.
I love that nickname. That is the coolest.
So those guys were, I don't know. It just seems I didn't have many guys trained. Oh, that's another good one. Bobby Johnson, one of my chauffeurs on the right there, looking at the picture on the right in the denim jacket. Another. Listen, all solid guys, man. I tell you. But I don't have to tell you guys. That's what made the job so wonderful. Yeah. I mean, you work with guys like this all the time, and everything, everything was taken care of. Yeah, I used to say that. You go to work, I didn't have to be there. The guys took care of everything.
You really don't have to be there, right?
No.
I mean, the guy, you really don't have to tell them what to do. The guys, and that's when you go to a place like 283, the place runs itself. If you have some good senior guys there, unless it really gets something where it has to come to you. But for the most part, those guys are going to handle everything.
And then when them chauffeurs left, I got other guys: Sean Mullen, Jimmy Lang, Mike O'Neill, Anthony Saltarelli. These guys they take care of business. They were all good guys, man. Yeah. So. What are you going to do?
One quick one from the chat. One quick one from the chat here from Marco. It says, Pete, I'm a good friend of Bucky. Tell him Mark will be back restoring engine 264 really soon. He'll tell you about it. He's a big fan of that former FDNY rig.
Yeah, there's a rig out this guy's got this rig out in Nevada. It's actually one of our rigs from the late 50s, early 60s. And he's restoring it out in Phoenix, and it would be a perfect rig to bring back here, but he owns it. So
are you a big you like the old rigs?
No, I like fire trucks.
It doesn't matter, right?
No, it don't matter. I've gotten involved in a few things over the years, and even in retirement, I've gotten involved with the Nassau County Fire Museum. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you some pictures that are hanging over there. They got a whole 9/11 section over there.
And, is that one by the Coliseum over there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the guy we see at the show every year. That's the guy. Isn't that the guy that we see at the show every year from the Nassau?
Yes, he's right across from us. Actually,
yeah.
We actually gave. They bought some nozzles and stuff.
Yeah.
To we gave it to him basically for nothing to sell at the place for like donations and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's some pretty neat place over there. There's a lot of history over there, but people don't really know about it. It's set up as a big kids museum, but they have quite a library over there.
Yeah, they do.
That's definitely the guy. That's definitely him.
Yeah. I went there with the Boy Scouts with my kids.
After 9/11, when all those rigs were destroyed, and there was a lot of donations. Well, in 283, we got a new rig. Ferrara was the first Ferrara in the city. And
really?
We got it in. It's funny because I was working one day, and all of a sudden these large men with like large handguns showed up at the firehouse, and they, can I help you? And they said, yeah, we're from the Louisiana governor's office. He's coming here next Tuesday to give you a fire engine. And I'm looking at him like, what are you kidding me? I mean, the job didn't tell me anything. At about 4:00 that afternoon, operations called and said, "Oh yeah, you're getting a rig next week, Tuesday." And it turns out it was a donation. It was bucks for trucks in Louisiana, and they built a truck and they sent it, and we got it. 283.
Donald Leschko said, yes. Spirit of Louisiana. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That was the nickname of it. Yeah, and we got. And let me tell you, this truck was. It was funny because it was an open cab in the inside, you like what we have now, but back then we didn't,
Right.
And I remember the first few runs with it, my chauffeur turned around and said to me, I don't like this fucking rig. I go, why not? He goes, it's like I'm on vacation with my kids in the back, and they never shut up.
Oh, because it was open.
Yeah,
right. I didn't like that either, actually.
No. So we actually put in to get it.
That's
can the job do something? And that's how I got involved with the shops, because they came down, they looked at it, they took noise readings, and then they ended up putting a petition up, so we would quiet it down a little bit.
And you can bang on the glass when you.
And you go. That's what I did my whole career.
I was going to ask you. You used to bang on the glass of the first two jobs?
All the time. Any job we were going to. If I heard they would come over on the radio, 1075 or anything, I always banged on the glass. And I think the guys liked it. But that's how I was taught to do it.
That's how I remember when I worked at. That's how I remember him. With you couldn't read his.
Can't read his front piece.
No,
that guy
was black, and like he said, the guy 127. That's exactly how his front piece was too.
Yeah.
What was his name? Rob?
Craig Salvino.
Savino.
Yes, right? Salvino. Yeah. Active in the Italian group, Italian Americans. Yeah,
same helmet.
Me and Craig were 24 partners. So you got him or you got me.
That's how I always seen you guys, one or the other, right?
Yeah.
Great pick, man.
That was I was getting on the rig. I was annoyed at something that day.
Probably the men, because the men suck.
No, you know what? It might have been a chief that day.
Right.
It might have been a chief that day. But so we got this Louisiana rig, right? We had it for like 18 months, and it was fast. It was a 6-cylinder pumper, and this thing was like a rocket sled. And I used to we would pull out, one of my chauffeurs, Bobby Johnson, would pull out onto Kings Highway, and he would flip his hat backwards. And I said, "Oh boy, we're going for one of them rides." Yeah, and it was a fast rig. And we had it for 18 months, and then the job took it back from us, and they gave it to chauffeur school, and then the rig ended up going back to Louisiana for Katrina.
Uh-huh.
And then after Katrina, they sent it back. They redid it and sent it back up to us for Sandy. So right now it's in a museum somewhere, or it's some kind of fire college, I think, down in Louisiana. But that was the first rig where everything was open inside, and the inside was nice, but it was plastic. Everything was starting to crack a little bit. It wasn't like the Seagrave rigs that they build now. They're much better, and the KMEs and stuff. And that's how I got involved with the shops. I got a lot of. You
go down to the shops now? You still go down?
Or? No, but after in around 2008, when they switched over to 2,000-gallon pumpers, I used to go back and forth with emails, and Andy Diamond used to run the shops back then. Anyway, still is. He's what a crew. Let me tell you, that's another thing. The guys, the rank and file, have no idea what they do for the guys in the field to keep these rigs rolling. And I got involved with that, and then they used to take me on the inspection trips. So when we got to 2008 rigs, then later on we got, every time it was a new batch of pumpers, they'd tell me to pack up my gear, and they'd actually bring me with my gear and everything. Put on your gear, get up in the cab, let's see how it fits, how does this work, where we don't want to put the lights here. And you know as well as I do, these rigs, there's a lot of, it's hard. I mean, I'm not a big guy, I'm 185 pounds. And you get a lot of bosses a lot bigger than me. And they get in these rigs and you're like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. There's no room for anything.
Right.
But the shops listen. Can you move this here? Can you do this? Can you change this? And they were very good with that.
If you hazmat roofie that was in the rigs, Kenny
Wagner.
Wagner.
Kenny Wagner. He's still doing that, I think.
Yeah, he's doing it on the outside, I believe now. Yeah. He's got his own company. He specs out rigs.
I always felt with the shops, if they knew that you were into the rig, your rig, they would do anything for you, right?
Yes.
If we went down there and the guy came from the shops and you talked to him, we want to do this, we want to change that. Is there any way we could do this? Because it would help us. They would do anything for you because of that.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
Except put the federal siren on the bumper. You weren't allowed.
They didn't want that. Well, would draw. We had. Yeah. Right. How much electric were you pulling?
They would say it would void the warranty. Don't put the
warranty. The lights would. The lights would go dim.
Well, I just got to tell you, we've always had a federal on 283.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the in with them, and plus we had one before because some of our chauffeurs were very good. They hooked it up, but we never had a problem.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was you had to take it off before you sent it to the shops.
That's all. We would take it off before we sent it to the shops every time. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. But
that and the train horn.
Yeah, the train horn. Yeah. So it was funny because with all these rigs, I went from, we changed over to 2,000-gallon minute pumpers, and there was a big problem with back then. They didn't know whether to go to split cabs or full tilt cabs to tilt the cabs, and I got into all of that, and I got to see all of those changes going by. That's one thing I do miss. And then when we went from Seagrave to KME, let me tell you, I made some good friends in Pennsylvania. That's one the guy who just asked that question, Don Leschko. He's the chief in the Hazleton Fire Department, and real good people. They could be on our job tomorrow, and or us with them, and it would be interchangeable.
Same circus, different clowns.
Same circus, different clowns. Yeah.
You got that shirt on, right, Roof? Yeah,
I do have that on.
It's amazing to follow. Like, we should do something with the Cup of Joe, with the rigs, as to where FDNY rigs wind up, because a lot of departments.
Somebody just sent me one where 117. Somebody just sent me a picture today or yesterday. 117's towel, 1979 Mac.
Somebody's using it today, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they sent it to me. I think maybe I forwarded it to you. Did I forward it to you? I don't even know if I did.
That's why I like following this stuff. Now that I'm retired, I got plenty of time to do this stuff. But I got to tell you, being in the division, you were talking about being in the division before. I never worked in field comm my whole time on the job. And the guys just say, why don't you work in field comm? You're getting older. You get a good night there. I'm like, all right. So I took a night tour in field comm on a Saturday a few years ago.
Fifth alarm.
No, worse. I relieve the guy, he leaves, and all of a sudden comes in for a high rise in Manhattan.
Oh, 1077.
Yeah, Trump Plaza.
Oh my!
I was working for that night. I'm like, are you shitting me? We're going to Trump's. I get there between. Now he says, I just stand at the command post. You put the vest on, you have your helmet on. Everybody was coming in that I know, because I know a lot of people now. What are you doing? What's 283 doing there? And I was there half the night. I'm like, hell with this field comm. I'm not working there no more. I said
the one run you had to get.
The one run.
77, right?
I mean, between the Secret Service coming in and all of these chiefs coming in, and it was a Saturday night, so they're all coming in from the island or upstate.
No doubt.
It was
Rob. Every time they used to say, hazmat's open, you want to work in the mat. I'm like, maybe the same thing. I'll work there. Yeah. Maybe I'll get a good night. Yeah. I know I'm going to get some mental bad shit. Yeah, it's going to be like, I got to put a level A on or some shit. It was never an easy night. Never.
It's not good. It's not good. No. But those were some of the things that went on.
Yeah, why don't you tell Lieutenant Sarno how I took the detail of hazmat for you that one night? You begged me. Come on, Coop.
I hate it. I didn't like.
Dude, so I take the detail for the hazmat, and these assholes go to a second alarm, right? And what do? You remember?
We called them up.
They call me from the floor above. These assholes. Coop, we're outside phone. I go, well, what's up?
Hey guys,
taking my detail.
Go ahead, Lieutenant.
My low battery light just went on.
All right, so go ahead and plug it in. Yeah.
Switch it in. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I don't want to lose you, so.
No problem.
All right, hold on.
If you guys would have saw what went on before the show started with him.
You got us?
You got us? You hear us?
Man, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can take it.
Yeah, we got you. We got you good now. No problem.
All right. That's why I hate computers. It's ridiculous. Everything you do, you gotta. I have a book of passwords. I can't remember nothing.
It is what it is, brother.
Just be like me. The same password.
The guy could run through a multiple dwelling, fully involved, but he can't download Google Chrome.
Yeah, that was a rough one tonight. Google Chrome gotcha.
It was just like Louis. I'm like, take it easy. Don't. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, that's why we have a pre-show, bro. We did it right. No problem.
Yeah, thank God.
Always.
I can't believe we're doing this off a phone. Yeah. Another thing I did in 283 is I used to keep records all the time. I saved every ticket for every job I went to, and I would write on it who had the nozzle, who had the backup, who had the door, stretched 3 lengths inches.
Did you hear that, Cubs? He used to keep every ticket on a job that he went to.
That's pretty intense, bro.
And I used to take the hydrant cards. I put lines on them. I could tell you who had the nozzle every tour I worked.
Really?
So I put the guy's initial. Yeah.
And what'd you do?
I have it all saved. I'm probably going to throw them in a fireplace someday, but I can write it.
They're nice and dry. They're good kindling now, right?
What about America's? What about America's nozzle, man? How many times?
You gotta keep that. Send that. You gotta send that one to him. Put it in glass and send it to him, right?
Man, listen, he's on a lot of the folder is probably 2 inches thick. It's great. It's good. I even saved another folder when we started EMS in
95.
I used to save all the crazy tickets. And I'm like, look at this. Look at the shit they're sending us on. I had one ticket one night that said the man cut up his mother and put her in the backyard in bags. I'm like, well, this is the tickets you're sending me on?
Yeah. Lieutenant Sarno, take your man and go over there and check it out, would you?
Yeah.
LT, I got one coming in hot from Jim Graham. He's asking. Pete, ask Bobby about Patty's Day with Lieutenant Kevin Connolly.
I don't know if I should. get into that.
No, I don't know. Maybe. Be careful.
That was a lot of fun. A lot of guys, a lot of laughing, going into the city, coming back to the firehouse. Who ended up where, and it was good. You know how it is, Patty's Day. It's open season.
Hats and horns, baby.
Yeah, somebody winds up pissing out in the open somewhere.
Always. That's the one thing I remember from everything.
In uniform, no less. Right?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
America's Mike Kelly coming in shit hot from the chat. America's Nozzle Man T-shirt coming.
America's Nozzle Man.
I love it.
You know, so many of the guys I work with, you know, I didn't have a lot of guys transfer out all the time I was there. And then, you know, there was a lot of continuity in 283. When you're there for 25 years, I mean, guys could bring up stuff and you knew about it, you know, right away.
Yeah, right.
I found that it worked to my advantage a lot, you know. Chiefs never.
No, of course, it's consistency. We talked about that the last show. That when you show up, they know what they're getting. You've been there forever, right? They know the company. They know you. It's important, you know, to have that for a long time. It really is. I enjoyed seeing guys that I know in companies that were there for a long time. You know, 175, Tommy Farraha. You know, all those.
Right. Tommy's another guy. Yeah.
All those guys I remember seeing. Captain Calamari in 120. You know, all those guys. Dennis Gordon. You know, it was a lot of the same faces. You've seen, what's his name from 170? He's a buff too.
Billy Croak.
You know, same guy. You used to see him all the time, you know. So I think that's what I liked, because I knew when at a job, I knew who I could trust, you know, as opposed to looking at a face I didn't know who the hell it was.
You know, one thing that helped me too is that 332. So I knew how to pump the rigs, and I knew how to get water and stuff. So that always helped being in an engine all the time. You know, a lot of times you get guys from trucks that come over, now they're bossing the engine, and the chauffeur starts telling them something, and they look at you like they got,
Yeah, right.
But, you know, being that, you know, you could pump a rig and you know what they were talking about, it helped a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, that was good.
And when they pulled the fifth man away, did they keep 283 a 5-man engine? Or
almost always. We very rarely. We were almost always 5-man engine. Yeah, I can name on one hand how many times we lost it. You know, we always got it back right away.
Right. Yeah.
It was good for stretching, because you know it is in an engine. You know, no stretch is the same. You don't know who's stretching, so the character stretching could be different day by day, and sometimes it makes it hard to be an engine boss. But that's the best job, I think, on the FDNY, an engine boss, because you're in the nozzle, you only get one every 4 times. When you're an engine boss, you're there all the time.
Good point. Yeah, man.
And that's another thing that.
Unless you're the squad chauffeur, which is the highest paid firefighter on the job. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, here he's bragging again.
You get chauffeur's pay, you get EMS, specialty pay. You know, just saying.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, if you have to, you know, people say to me, "Why'd you stay so long?" I said, you know, if you got to go to work, and it sucks, you don't want to go to work, and then I never thought I was going to work. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. My uncle said to me, he had 42 years on the job. He says, when you're on vacation and you don't have an itch to get back, then you know it's time to retire. But you know, I never felt like that. When I'm on vacation, I'm like, I can't wait to get back to the firehouse. People are like, you're on vacation, you can't wait to get back to work. I'm like, yeah. You know,
in age, I think at the end, I was going, you know, that vacation wasn't long enough.
See, so he was right.
Yeah, he was right. Yeah.
Paulie Hoshhagen had told me that. He had said, you know, we had started doing the shows maybe about 7 years ago, and he had said, you'll know when it's time. Like, you'll start to feel different when you're on vacation. You know, like you needed more time, or you know, when you're going back to work right away, or whatever it was. And he was right. You know, you know, it's it's not the job. It was more of the commute. The commute was starting to kill me, and then you know the EMS was killing me, and then you know all of the crap that came along with all that stuff. You know, it was never the job itself.
You know, and like I was telling you before, some of the nights the running gets punishing. I can remember one day on on Rutland Road, we had BI, and I used to say, just give me 2 buildings, give me 3 buildings. Listen, don't go crazy. And we were sitting on the rig, everybody, and then all of a sudden I woke up because I nodded out, of course, because you're up all night. And I looked around and I says, good thing nobody's got cameras over here. Everybody on the rig was asleep.
I've seen that too.
So, Lieutenant, the thing is that you'll have to explain what BI is to Lou because he's not familiar with it.
Pete's taking a shot.
I was going to say 3 buildings. Ruffy looks like 3 buildings. 3 buildings in 3 years.
But that's the other thing too. Doing 6,000 runs a year or 5,000 runs a year. You never go on BI or hydrants, and you always get interrupted. Almost always. You got to run here, you got to run there, and you make it work.
Yeah, Ruffy used to make it work from the apparatus floor.
Poor Chief Moran, he was just like, what is going on with this guy, man?
Dude, I swear to God, I was working in division with my brother in the last couple of years. A friend, the deputy division commander, tells me, what is up with your friend? You better stop telling him to be on. I'm like, I don't know.
That's great. That's great.
Well, you did have a long career, man. I mean, you got the most out of your career. You really did. You did it great. You did it right.
It's funny because you when you get older, your mind thinks you can still do it, but your body says, "Whoa, wait a minute."
It's just getting on and off the rig. Think about it, Rob. Like at your, by the time you had already had 39 years on the job. I mean,
just about, yeah.
It's like about getting on and off. How about just jumping up in the middle of the night? For 10 runs in the middle. It wears on your body.
That was in front of my new KME. when the rig was new, I said, "Let me get a picture of this rig." Yeah, so
we got a picture of his last tour, right, Petey?
Yeah, I got you. Stand by. Here it is. Boom! Look at that, man.
Oh, look at that turnout for the last tour. Very nice.
Yeah, that was the guys did a nice job that night. That's what I mean. We've been blessed, all of us that have been on this job. We really have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, how many times have you ever gone to work where you're looking at your watch saying, "Oh God, I can't wait for this"? It never happens, right? You're not looking at your watch.
Unless you had a party you had to go to or something, and somebody was coming in early. Otherwise, I didn't even look at that.
Kid, yeah, we used to ride bell to bell all the time, right?
Yeah, and then like holidays. The family's got a plan. Oh yeah, I got to go to work.
Yeah. Sometimes it was, oh no, honey, I got to go to work. I'm like, thank God I have to go to work.
Yeah. Oh, my family's got a party on. I'm like, they working at 24. I don't know. Yeah,
but did it. So anyway, that's that. Then I want to go back to when I was talking about the rigs and stuff before. Like Andy Diamond and all of that crew.
Andy Diamond, I remember that name.
Yeah,
yes.
And those guys, they would do it. Like if you showed that you could carry your rig like you.
Oh, he would do it. Andy would do that every time.
He actually grew up as a kid in the neighborhood by 283, or more down Kings Highway. I went by his house when he was a kid. I took a picture of it and sent it to him. Hey, you grew up here? And he goes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And
did the mechanics stay in your quarters?
No, we didn't have mechanics in quarters. We didn't. No, we had a lot of stuff over the years. We had the decon unit in there, the shower unit. That was
the tractor trailer or whatever.
Yeah, that was a joke. That was a joke. After 9/11, they said we're going to give us a decon rig, and I said, why us? And I said, nobody's going to bomb Brownsville. That's why you're giving it to us. I mean,
And you got a 3-bay firehouse, right over there?
4-bay firehouse.
Oh, 4-bay.
4-bay. It was the division and us. It was the decon unit, and we had a spare engine in there for a while. We finally got rid of that.
Were they originally supposed to house a truck in there?
I think when it was built, it was supposed to be an engine, a truck, and a chief. Yeah, but with the budget, because it was built on the A beam, and they never put the truck in there.
Where was 283's original quarters?
214 Bristol Street.
214 Bristol.
Yeah, 214. It's a private dwelling now. It's one of the Nehemiah homes built down there.
Really? Private dwelling? Oh, I'd love to get a firehouse and make it a house.
Yeah. Actually, awesome. It's been knocked down, and they knocked it down?
They knocked it down, yeah.
Why would you do that? Chief Kleehouse is actually, I talked to him about it because he was in there. He's been in there, and Warren Fuchs, when he was on the show, was when he was buffing as a young guy. He buffed out of 283 on Bristol Street.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And
why would you knock that down, bro? That's
it depends. You know, people are weird.
We had the 100th anniversary in 2013, and we booked that a year in advance, and we tried to get as many old timers as we can in, and it was a good day. You know, we had a journal and everything, and did a lot of work for that. That was fun.
No, it's always the centennials are always great, man.
Yeah.
I was just good, boss.
No, Chief Cartwright.
Oh, my favorite. I love that guy. Oh my God, I love that guy. I can't believe we didn't mention him. I love that guy.
Yeah. His father was one of the first. He was the first captain that opened 283 when it was a new course.
Is that right?
Yeah, and his chauffeur showed up for the 100th. So
really, what year did they move over there, boss?
Said to the new quarters.
Yeah.
I think it was built. I think it was 74, around that way, maybe that time. Yeah, and his chauffeur showed up. We had a bottle for the oldest.
Nice. Allegedly.
Yeah, and he got his father's chauffeur won the bottle that night.
Nice.
You got me, Pete?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
All right. Oh, Chief Cartwright, he was the man. I really enjoy. He was great at fires. He was such a nice guy, man. Is he still working?
He retired. I think a couple of months ago.
Is that right?
Yes.
I'll get his ass on here.
Lou, you and me retired. I didn't even realize we retired right around the same time.
Yeah, I got out October 30th. I remember seeing you in the pension seminar one time. We talked quick. Yeah. We were like, you were going by, and I said, "Hey, what's going on? How you been?" I didn't realize you were getting out finally. You old coot. And
listen, I don't remember nothing from that day. I was just so upset to be here. This is my way of life. It's ending here now. So
yeah, it's a little scary. It's no doubt.
I was going to ask you that. How did you adjust after you retired?
I'm still adjusting.
It's not even 2 years. He got out the same month as me, October of 2019.
Yeah, October 18th. I got out the 25th. You got out the 31st. Yeah, it's only been. It was a year and a half this past Sunday. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not totally happy with it, but it is. So you got to do it.
Well, we got COVID, and it's been
it ruined everything. You couldn't go. It ruined
everything.
Tough year, man.
Except Roofy's fishing and golfing and hunting, and other than that, he hasn't done a goddamn thing. Nothing.
Correct. It don't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that put a big dent in things. I didn't get COVID or anything, but I didn't change my life. I still went out all the time.
I go out all the time. Yeah, I don't care.
Just went out alone. That's all.
Well, it's getting better now. It'll open up a little bit more now. So
July 1st, New York City will be open 100%. Pete, did you hear that today?
Yeah.
La-di-da.
All right, we're going up to 30 truck because Keith he keeps texting me, so we're going to do that.
Who was the engine with 30 truck? 58 or 59?
59.
I'm walking at the Stop and Shop yesterday, and there's a kid who's just working the door. I don't know. And he goes, "Oh shit, Salty Dog, dude." I'm like, because I'm at 59 engine with, I'm like, "Oh, Keith Nicolello, that guy's great, man." But yeah,
nice.
It's funny. I looked back at the podcast, all the guests you've had. I can't believe how many guys I work with, rolled in at fires with. I mean, everything from Dennis Gordon and Danny Potter. Danny Potter was a volley with me in Valley Stream back in the 70s. He was on Mets at the time. Yeah, so I know him for years.
Even the names that people that you guests mentioned, you say, "Oh shit, man, I remember that guy. Oh, I remember that guy. I remember that guy." Like things you don't think about.
I think I must be like I just put together a quick list. I think it's like 8 or 9 guys that I either went to fires with, worked with.
Oh, it's got to be more than that, boss.
Yeah.
Just on your show. I mean,
I'm talking about it just on the show. It's got to be more than that.
Yeah, you're right. Not even including the Chiefs and stuff. But no, it's pretty amazing how everything runs full circle.
Hey, listen,
that's what makes it great.
When you're on forever, you got to wind up bumping into somebody, right?
When you're on for 97 years,
smaller and smaller.
And then I finished up. I went to the Rock for 6 or 7 months. I went over to a schedule unit. Another bunch of great guys. I tell you, everywhere I went. I mean, Rick Bruno, Tony DeSimone, Debo, Paulie Strohs, and all these guys, and we had a lot of laughs. We used to have a dartboard there, and people would come in and they say, "How did you pick companies?" We'd show them the dartboard. That's how
you know, that's funny because when I went to Sock, I was out the last year too, and I went to Sock Island. As much as I didn't want to go, you know, because I didn't like it, but the guys were great there, you know, and I enjoyed the guys there, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. They had a kitchen there. You would sleep, you know, you would sleep there, so it was kind of that, you know, you would do straight 24s, but it was a lot of fun, man.
You can't take the fireman out of fireman, bro.
No, there was a lot of laughs.
Anywhere you go.
We even had a board over there, an excuse board. You know, like guys would call up, the rig don't run good in the rain. I got to go trick-or-treating with my daughter today. I can't come for training.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, here, every type of excuse there is, right? It's worse than the kids at school, probably.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That's why you got to get that guy Rick Bruno on here. There's a guy who was laid off, came back.
Who's that? Which guy is that? The guy from went to 127 truck?
289. 289 engine. Yeah, Rick Bruno.
What year did he come on? 70. It had to be mid 70s.
70. Well, he got laid off, so.
Yeah, it had to be like.
What's Craig's last name? Savino, right?
Silvino, yes.
Huh.
I know Ralph talks about him all the time. Ralphie Longo, he loves him. Yeah.
He had to work with Chief Steve then.
Probably. And you know that one of the pictures I posted, you guys posted, it was me in 283 in 332 back in the year when we were really young. There's one guy left in that picture still working. He's a chief out in Queens, Scalone. I don't know what battalion's out there, the 5-3 or
5-3, 5-0,
he's the last
5-1.
He's the last guy left from Liberty Avenue that's still working.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got to be older than dirt.
He's probably my age, I guess, or close.
I got rocks in my yard younger than you guys.
Is it about that time, Kev?
I don't know. Let me check my notes. Hold on a second.
Take a look.
Unless the lieutenant has something else, it might be that time.
No, I'm just, you know, I like to go on, but this isn't fun.
So
I told you it's going to go fast,
we're going to put him the 5-3, Chief Cleops at the 5-3. All right, so listen, Lou, could you do me a favor? Could you maybe call Cleops and get him on the side and say, hey, maybe it's a good idea to do the show? Just say,
listen, I've been talking to him. I used to say to him all the time, I'm not going on until you go on. I'll follow you. It didn't work out that way.
No.
I'm going to do some reverse psychology. You know what? Maybe we don't need Chief Cleops on the show.
Who needs a Chief Cleops?
Who is he anyway? I never even heard of the guy.
Never heard of the guy. No,
we don't need no stinking Cleops.
We need no Cleops here.
The problem with him is you need him for like a month every night.
That's the problem.
He's got so much information.
Well, anytime we're two dingbats, so me and Cruz, we don't know anything. So most of the time we go, Chief Cleops, can you answer that? And then. And magically, the answer appears. So,
listen, I called him up the other day to get a date because I couldn't remember when Squad 41 was formed, but he remembers everything.
Oh, he knows everything. McVeigh says the same thing about him all the time. He's like,
bad trap. Do you go to his thing that out in what is that, Ruffy?
Maggie Mays.
Well, he hasn't had one. He hasn't.
Well, now that New York's going to be open, we may just crash it. We may bum rush it.
With
that's the all-day bum rush with the
old bum rush.
Yep. Frank Mollet said, "Great career, Lieutenant Sarno. Thanks for the show. Thanks for the stories."
Thank you.
Frank,
again, I was always thinking, nobody wants to hear from an engineman the whole time.
Of course we do, man.
Put the I kept telling him that from the get-go.
We're like the offensive linemen. We get beat up and nothing happens.
You can't win a Super Bowl without the line, bro.
Yeah, you're right. That was one of the things I always said about the bait engine. I loved the fact we would push the line in, we put the fire out, and then we watch everybody run around working.
There you go.
And then wait for it. Are you ready? Yeah, I can hit it now. Again, wash down and let's take this up. We got another job to go to.
Yeah. All right, so Pete, it might be that time.
I think it really is. And you know what time that would be, ladies and gentlemen? It's time
put it right in the loose flap.
The old school tip of the day.
All right, kid, give it to him.
Well, listen, this isn't. I'm not a great speaker and stuff, but I thought of two things that really got to me. One is for everybody, an engine or truck. And you've had many guys have said this, know your tools, especially in the engine. I used to say to the guys, look, you only got 6 months, everything. Learn how to pump the rig. That's all. So you know how to pump the rig. Guy can help out and always pump the rig and know the tools involved with that. The other thing was given to me when I was in 312 engine 39 years ago. And he told me, whenever you go into public, fire or not, you represent the FDNY. And people who have never had any contact with the FDNY will remember you, whether you're an idiot or whether you're smart. They always, so always try to, you're representing the job and remember that. And that's why he gave me this tip. You got to think about this. And back in 1982, before social media, before the phone cameras, before any of this, and he was telling me this then. So, that kind of fits now more than ever before.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, and he always also preached to me about gearing up and make sure you're geared and you always have your tool, your gloves and everything back then. And I carried that through my whole career. I always got geared up. Even for EMS runs, I always put bunker pants on. I didn't want to be the guy sitting on the side of the road putting my pants on, So that's the other thing, is always be geared up and ready.
Amen.
And that's really all I got. Not much more, right?
Listen, those are the words to set your career. I mean, that guy set your career up, and if you do it right from the get-go, you'll always do it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're always prepared from the get-go, as opposed to learning bad habits, then that's going to set you up for success your whole career.
Yeah,
Pretty simple.
It was all good, and you know what? When you could walk out of a job like this, and I walked out with my health, and I'm happy with everything we did. I enjoyed every minute of it. I think I'm blessed with that, So,
dude, you had guys who cut their pinky toe off for that career, man. I mean, are you kidding me? Almost 40 years in the FDNY in some of the busiest companies on the job for all those years. And make it out alive and make all those lifelong friends. I mean, what else? Yeah. What else is there?
Yeah,
you come across as a true professional, Lou. Absolutely.
Thank you. I thank you guys for having me, because when I watch this week after week, and I throw in little nuggets into the chat room, because I just there's a lot of people from out of state that watch this, and it's, you guys do a hell of a job, man. Let me tell you, I'm very.
Well, if we don't have guys like you, it would be me and Kev talking to each other, and that wouldn't work out so good, I don't think.
Yeah. Have you ever seen our Q&As?
He ain't lying. He ain't lying.
Especially when Pete picks the questions. No good.
No worries.
Yeah. Good one, Kubi. Good one, Kubi.
Nice, Kubies.
All right. Well, Lou, really great professional job. You're a gentleman. Glad to have you on. Glad to meet you.
I'm glad you finally came on, Rob. It was enjoyable listening to you. Believe me, I enjoyed the whole night.
It was funny when you called me that day when the phone went to 917 and it went off. I'm like, "Fuck, that's the call I was waiting for." My phone blocked it out because it thought it was
spam,
a
potential spam.
Yeah.
I jumped off the bike right away. I said, "Let me call him back right away." Holy
You did call me back right away. That's funny.
Yeah, I was embarrassed over it, but anyway, thank you. And Coobs, I'm gonna look for you in Long Beach.
I'll be there. I'm here. Come to the store, man. We got a new store right on 58A East Park Avenue.
I'll send them your number, Rob, so that you got it. You can text them if you're going down there.
Yeah.
I'm back and forth all the time between Jones Beach on a bike and Long Beach, because now they just opened up a bike trail you can go from Wantor all the way to Captree and back. It's a 34-mile loop. It's great.
Why don't you come to Long Beach? We'll do breakfast one day. How you like that?
And then you pack you pack some wine or some beer in the back of your backpack.
Oh, he knows how to do it.
He knows how to do it. He knows what he's doing.
Never been done before. Man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Pete carries rocks in his rock pack.
And beers.
All right, Ruffy, you got a shout out tonight, or do you want me to go first?
I do. I'll go. Unfortunately, we had talked about Charlie McCarthy coming on the show a couple of months ago, 31 truck. And just because of COVID, his son, Jim, I had been in touch with, and we were kind of getting it all figured out. And we were going to take the logistics part of it because he was in Florida, but it just couldn't happen. And we had talked and said, all right, we'll wait, till things cool off. And but unfortunately, Charlie, he passed away the other day. One thing that kind of stuck out to me was Dan Potter posted something up that I thought was pretty cool. He wrote, remembering Charlie, as a young man being introduced to the FDNY during the war years, Charlie was one of the first guys I met on my initial visit to Intervale Avenue. I rode between him and Captain Bob on the tiller many times thereafter. Charlie was larger than life. He inspired me to pursue my career. Prayers and thoughts to his family and brothers on Intervale Avenue. May he be blessed with eternal rest. Although I think a ruckus is about to burst out in heaven, be ready, St. Peter. So,
nice.
I mean, that guy was as legend as they get.
Yep.
There's another picture there, Petey, too, right below that, I think.
Yep. I got you right here. I mean, the man's like the firefighting Clint Eastwood, man.
Dude,
Nice sweat peak. Great call, man. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Those guys during that time there's no words.
Yeah, man.
Best of the best.
All right. I got a shout out too. So we're going to do a shout out to Harry Gillen of Ladder 131. Passed away on April 25th, 2021. A true legend of the FDNY. So Harry first entered the firehouse in 1947 when he was 13 years old and became friends with the members. On October 19th, 1957, Harry was hired as FDNY at 24 years old, and believe it or not, he was assigned to 131 truck. So he spent 75 years 131 truck, bro. Some of the fires he went to the plane crash in Brooklyn. He also went to the St. George Hotel fire. So wow. 75 years of the fire service between buffing out, and he wound up in that firehouse, and that is a true icon of the job right there, bro. So we really miss him. So I'm going to give these two fellas the 5 bells, bro. All right, Pete.
Yeah, man. And this is always another tough thing, but one of our esteemed colleagues, Jose Martinez, had a brother lost from Orange County fire in Florida, who took his own life. His name is Stephen Etienne, badge number 2287, and he's wondering if we could give him a shout tonight. And I just want to say one thing, guys, there's so many resources out there. If anyone needs help, definitely reach out your hand, contact guys like Travis Howes and people who have been talking about this for a long time. They can help you. There's no reason we should have that kind of stuff going on with all the resources that are out there. And if you feel alone, you're not alone. You got a whole entire world of brothers out there who would love to help you. So it's just tough to hear. So rest in peace and condolences to the family.
And Jose, keep it tight down there, bro. All right, fellas. What else you got, Ruffy? Anything else?
That's it. I got a couple things working for Monday, but I got to figure it all out. We'll figure it out.
All right. Remember to send those pictures in, fellas. Send the pictures of the kitchen table. Send the pictures of the jobs you go to with a little description, please. Not just a picture. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Fire is great, but I like to have a little story behind it. And like we were saying before, the rigs, if you have a rig that was an FDNY rig and now you're currently using it, that'd be great too. Or, if you have an interesting rig picture, anything of that sort. Pete, where do they send that to?
Send that over to CoobsPodcast@gmail.com.
There you go.
Boom.
All right, Pete, what else you got? Take us out, kiddo.
All right, and I'm just gonna mute the LT's mic for a minute because we're getting a lot of feedback from his system there. But anyhow, guys, you know what the deal is: iTunes podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever fine audio podcasts are found is where you can download this in an audio form. And you know what, guys? That's great if you're at the gym, or if you're driving, if you missed a show live. But also, if you are watching us live on youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience, please do us the favor, take out your stinky digit and hit the like, subscribe, and share button. When you do, you tell the YouTube algorithm, hey, I like this. I want to see more of this. And then YouTube keeps pumping us up, and we get out to you guys a lot more there. Also, guys, hit us up at Salty Dog Inc. on Instagram, of course, where you'll find the coolest fire photos in the game, curated by one Mr. Refrano. And then also, guys, if you need any cool apparel, firefighter apparel, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, mugs like this one, tumblers, so on and so forth, head on over to Gettin Salty.
The new fan page shirt, Petey, is out.
Yep.
Go get it. Fan page shirt.
Fan page shirt, 10,000 strong and growing, but we're actually up to 16 now. But gettingsaltyapparel.com, we got you covered on all that. Guys, if you have any questions for us for our Q&As, shoot it over to gettingsaltyexperience@gmail.com. Last but not least, guys, head on over to Facebook if you're on there and go to Gettin Salty Fans, where these crazy guys, Alan Shupp and Jose Martinez, put together a fun fan page where you guys get to interact, talk smack, make memes out of us all, and share all the info on this show. And that, my friends, is everything.
Awesome.
Boom.
Listen, fellas, if you call one guy that's not watching the show and say, hey, check this out, and tell him to call one guy, that's how we grow. That's it. Call a guy and tell him to call a guy who tells him to call a guy. That's it. You know how it works. And so on and so forth. And that's how it works. That's it.
Word of mouth, guys. But we'll see you all at the shows. We'll make sure you guys all subscribe to the shows this summer.
Yeah, man. We'll see you at the shows. You'll be buying us booze and some
hookers. I mean, oh no.
Oh
no way! Whoa! That would be illegal.
Yeah. Okay. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Just
my mother's watching this. My mother's watching this show. You know what we get tomorrow? Was Lewis serious? What is that?
He was not serious, Grandma.
He's kidding, Mom.
I'm kidding.
He's kidding.
I'm only kidding. I was only kidding.
I just love when Lewis cracks up. He's just so funny.
I was only kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, jokes.
Thank Lieutenant Sarno for coming on the show.
Rob, thank you very much.
Rob, great job. You're a gentleman. Great
stuff.
Thank you, guys. And
you're a gentleman and a scholar.
Yep, and you got a nice head of hair on you. Look at you.
Good hairdo. We'll have you on. We'll get you back on. We'll sneak you back on.
All right.
Back in the day or something. We'll call it a ball pin or something.
Yeah.
Calling engine guys.
Yep. We'll do the end when we do the engine show. You're on.
You know what we should do, Ruffy? We should get like a firehouse from the Warriors, like 332. See if we can get like 5 guys from 332 on at one time. You know what I mean?
That's a great idea too.
Yeah, man.
A couple of old geezers that have chrome on their laptop.
You know, especially when guys get together, you know how it goes, bro.
I know how they go.
Maybe they can all get in one room. You know,
yeah, one guy's gonna be a topper. You know, one guy's gonna be
one better Galetta.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, that's all like that.
All right,
see you guys on Monday.
10-4.
All right, fellas, stay low and go.
All right, we'll see you at the big one. Have a good night.
Peace, brothers.